Hello there, and welcome to another episode of Cutting Through the Bullshit. I am your host, Dr. Stephanie Snyder, and I am a high performance mentor. Through my unique blend of strategy, mindset, and intuition, I help men and women to cut through the BS in order to create the life and business they desire. So, in true fashion, I was on a run this morning because I wanted some clarity around what I was going to talk about today. And today's topic is they should just know. How many times have we said that to ourselves where we believe that our partner or our friend or a family member or someone should just know? We shouldn't have to tell them, right? They should just know. Why? Why should they just know? Are they in your head? Can they read your mind? Right? It reminds me of that movie. I forget who the actor is, but it's called, I think it's What Women Want, right? And it's this guy who somehow gets this ability to read women's minds, right? And initially he's like, absolutely not. I want no part of that. I don't want to listen to it. Like, it's crazy train. And then he ends up using it for his benefit, to pleasure the women, right? Essentially. But the truth is, you really don't want someone else in your head. Really. Like, you really probably don't want someone hanging out there being like, did you just think that? Ooh, that's like, or, oh my God, I can't believe you just thought that, right? Like, chances are you don't want somebody else in your head. But we tend to show up in life going, well, they should just know. They shouldn't. They shouldn't just know. And the fact that we're angry that they don't know is a reflection of ourselves, not the other person. Let me say that again. The fact that they don't know is a reflection of us, not the other person. People cannot read your minds. Even your girlfriends who are really, 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 really good girlfriends, right? Like your best friend in life, chances are she cannot read your mind. Your spouse, probably a really good chance that they cannot read your mind. Now, they might get things on occasion and you're like, oh, cool, right? Like, this is really fun. But the majority of the time, we are oblivious to someone else, right? And this is where that passive aggressiveness shows up, which just, irritates the crap out of me, right? Like, if you are annoyed enough to be passive aggressive, then you can also just have a conversation with me, right? Like, just have a conversation with me. Also guilty of this, right? Like, I remember one day, this was several years ago, I was angry cleaning, right? Like, you know, the angry cleaning where you're stomping around the house, like aggressively shaking the trash bag, like doing all of the things to try to get the attention of your family and have them offer for help instead of you just asking for help, right? You know, you're like fluffing the pillows aggressively, you're shaking the trash bag and making so much noise, stomping around the house while they're trying to watch TV. Like, we know, you know, right? Well, I was doing this one day. I was stomping around the house because I was making the beds and my husband was sitting on the couch in the living room. And every time I walked past him, I got more and more annoyed that he was just sitting there watching TV, right? And it was probably the fourth or fifth time that I stomped by him. And he goes, is there a problem? And I said, yeah. Oh, there is. Yes. I'm making all of the beds and you are sitting on the couch doing nothing. Yeah, there is a problem. And he looks at me and goes, you could have just asked. And I thought, shit, right? Like, he's right. I could have just asked. And instead I stomped around the house like an angry person instead of just asking, right? And so from that moment, I have learned to ask more. I'm not always great at it, right? But I am definitely better at it than I was in the past, right? And so, and by default, he's actually gotten better at helping without being asked, which is kind of this weird thing, right? Because you were like, well, I wanted you to help without being asked before, but now that I ask for help, you're willing to help without me asking for help. So like, I don't know, that's how it works, right? Partly because, and here's why it works. If you start to ask for help, they start to see areas in which they can actually help you. Because truth be told, no one knows if you need help in a particular area until you actually ask for help. From the outside world, we probably think you've got it all together and you don't need help because we don't know, we can't read your mind. And so if you don't ask for help, how are we supposed to know what to help with? Right? And this is something that I am thinking about another situation with some, last fall, when my son was a senior, my husband's travel schedule was a lot. He was traveling Monday through Friday every week. I was very grateful that my son had a driver's license and could help out a little bit, but there was a definite learning curve the first month or so. And so I remember reaching out to some friends and saying, hey, like, for the next couple of weeks, can you just like check and see if I'm alive on Wednesdays? Right? Like Wednesday's like the hump day of the week, like just, for my mental health, just can you reach out and say, hey, are you good? Right? And they did for a little bit, right? And then I just kind of got into the groove, and I didn't, because they would be like, hey, how are you doing? I'd be like, oh, I'm good. I don't need anything, right? So I was able to learn it fairly quickly, like how to navigate it. But it didn't stop me from reaching out for help, because I had already said, hey, I might need help. Just as I'm trying to get used to these schedules and the soccer practices and all the things, right? Like I may need some help coordinating. And they were like, oh yeah, absolutely. Right. And then I didn't really need help. I was able to figure out most of it. And so, but they were always available if I did. And I was grateful that I had the wherewithal to say, hey, like this year's going to be kind of zooey. So if I could get any help, that would be great. Right. But that's part of the thing. Like, so many of us don't actually ask for help because for some reason we think we're supposed to be able to handle it all. We are actually wired to be in community. Hardwired, right? Like we are wired to want to be part of community. And when we don't ask for help, we actually cut ourselves off from community, because there are people out there who love the thing that you need help with. That's their love language. They're like, oh my God, yes, like I will get on the phone with you and like listen to you vent. Like, cool. Or, I'm happy to, make you dinner, right? Like one of my girlfriends, her love language is cooking, and she was having her kitchen renovated this summer, and she was getting very annoyed at having to be like stuck in her room because the kitchen was being renovated. It was legitimately like their whole first floor, right? But she's a big cooker. She loves to cook. And so I said to her, hey, like, why don't you come over one night and you can use my kitchen and make dinner? And she was like, what? And I said, it would help me out because my husband's going to be out of town this week. The kids have soccer practice. Like, if you made dinner, that would help me out. And that would give you the opportunity to use the kitchen and cook. And she said, absolutely, what day can I be there? Right? But I wouldn't have known to ask her if she didn't ask me, like, tell me that she was getting stir crazy. And so we had a win-win there, right? Because we had that conversation and she was willing to ask for help. Because again, no one can read your mind. So we don't know what the struggle is, what the mental, capacity you have is, unless you tell somebody, right? And it doesn't have to be like a, hey, I'm drowning, I need help, right? Like, it can be like a, hey, how are you? Hey, hope you're having a great day, right? Just knowing that somebody is thinking about you is a fun little text, right? I do send these to my girlfriends. I'm like, hey, I hope you're having a beautiful day. Just thinking about you. I remember I did that on the way to school one day when my son was in the car, and he looked at me and he goes, man, people who are friends with you are so lucky. I don't send any of my friends messages like that. I was like, well, you know, if I think of you, I'm probably going to send you a text message and just say, hey, I hope you're doing well, right? Like, those are the kind of, that's just who I am as a friend, right? So, when it comes to this, let's say you're afraid to ask for help because maybe you've been programmed to not ask for help. Maybe you watched someone in your life try to do all the things and not ask for help. It's going to get real exhausting if you try to do everything alone. And there may come a point where you start to feel resentful towards the people around you because they are not helping. But they can't help if you don't ask. And like I said, I found that as I got comfortable asking, I had to ask less and less because they already knew what I wanted help with. But that was because I asked for help first. So, just a thought. All right, I'm going to sign off here. I hope that you're having an amazing rest of your day. And if you are new to my world, I did not say this time, but if you are new to my world, thank you so much for being here. I'm excited to have you. I would love if you would connect with me on YouTube, subscribe, or head over to Instagram and follow me there. I would love to have a conversation with you and deep dive into this because, well, we're not going to do life alone, so we might as well figure out how to work with people. Right? I guess that's the tagline for today. All right, I'm sending you so much love. I hope you have an amazing rest of your day. And as always, be you because the world needs more of you. Bye.